some of them.
Give me 2 more.
The first thing we had to do was get Andy's truck ready. He bought it in mid-February of this year and started ordering parts immediately. February, March, April, May, almost daily parts were showing up for it, and that's a lot of work. Fortunately, we have a good core group of friends who stepped up to help make that work happen and put their blood and sweat into the install. Well, really only one guy put his blood into it, and it was really just a black eye. Fortunately, Larry was just fine. After getting Andy's truck ready for the trip, the next thing we had to do was work on the Defiant. Fortunately, we didn't have much to do. We basically just needed to put a new tent on it. Andy is torquing away. We're almost done mounting the tent. It's the evening before departure. We're at about T-minus 14 hours. We've been planning this trip for almost a year, and tomorrow, barring disaster, we're gonna roll out and head towards Utah and Colorado. It's been a stressful week. Had to put a battery in the Defiant yesterday. Found out a few days ago the Defiant has a bent axle shaft also, which is a source of a brake noise I've been chasing for a long time, but fortunately it's a very minor one. And in her impending 200,000 mile overhaul, she's getting new axle shafts anyway, so it should be good to go for the trip. We just got a little bit more stuff to pack up here, mainly in Andy's truck, which has been christened Ramageddon. Let's go take a look at how things are going over there.
All right, so wrapping up preparations, finishing packing up what we can pack tonight. About 14 hours from now, we'll be hitting the road. Have to make a quick stop at Discount Tire. They need to make some adjustments to my balancing on one of my tires, but once we get that done, we'll be on the road and headed west.
All right, it is go time. We're packed up and ready to roll. We have what, 30 something hours over the next 2.5 days?
Yeah, about 30 hours of driving to do, so let's hit the road.
Let's hit the road. Let's go. It was now time to put the months of planning and prep work into action. We were on the highway and headed west. Thankfully, complications along the way were minor. Because no road trip would be complete without parking lot repairs. Andy, what has happened and what do we have to do?
There's nothing like getting derailed by a washer fluid hose popping off. Simple fix, I just got to get to the disconnect, plug it back in, and then we got to go buy 2 more jugs of washer fluid because it leaked all out.
Oh. It's all part of the adventure. Summer weather in the south can be interesting to say the least, and we were going to get a healthy dose of it on this trip. All I'm going to say is, yay, Rain-X! Passing the Ozarks, we pushed on towards Oklahoma City, enduring severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings in the night. Our third day on the road saw us crossing the plains of northern Texas and the ancient volcano areas of New Mexico before finally arriving in Colorado. I'm just outside of Montrose, Colorado, and we're at the beginning of the Rimrocker Trail. This is the whole point in this expedition west, was to come out here and run the Rimrocker. Yesterday we were on the Alpine Loop up at Cinnamon Pass in the Alpine Mountains. Now we're out in the desert. So we're in the staging area. We had to stop and air down because the trail's pretty rough and washboarded. Andy's back there getting some pictures. So this is what we made the trip for. We're gonna hop on the trail and start making our way towards Moab. So tune in and come along with us. With a length of 160 miles, the Rimrocker Trail is an off-road route that runs from Montrose, Colorado, all the way to Moab, Utah. The Rimrocker crosses a diverse array of terrain, including dense forests, high plateaus, canyons, and desert lands. The first part of the Rimrocker is not that impressive. It's just a gravel road, although the scenery is pretty impressive. But then there's the Uncompahgre National Forest. You hit it and it's just like, wow. The Uncompahgre National Forest is a nearly 1,500 square mile forest in western Colorado, and its scenery is nothing short of incredible. With its dense collection of firs, pine, and juniper, the Uncompahgre is a visually stunning sight. The scenery of the forest definitely keeps what is otherwise an unassuming gravel road interesting. I don't know what's going on with onX's mapping in this area of the Rimrocker, but what the heck is this? It's starting to get a mite bit chilly. We're like 17, 18 trail miles in, but we've gained a lot of elevation, and it's gone from about 85 Fahrenheit down at the beginning of the trail, and now it's at about 65. Yeah. Pretty nice out. There's still snow on the ground. As we head further into the forest and higher in elevation, unmelted snow left over from the winter reminds us that a couple of short months ago, this area was far less inviting. We stopped at a scenic overlook. Let's go take a look. Well, we just stopped at that overlook and it was all right. But this is an overlook. This landscape is truly mesmerizing to us, and all we can do is drive in silence and take it all in. The miles that we've put in today bring us closer to a stopping point, and our priority becomes finding a place to make an early camp. I think we found where we're going to camp for the first night. Found a decent, not spectacular, but decent open site. It's got 2 fire rings. Valley over there, the ridge line we came down earlier is over there. We came down and around and then back this way. So this will do. We could keep searching if we wanted, but we kind of wanted to make camp a little early. It's about 6 p.m. We're going to set up and just relax. We're going to get ready to pop the tent. This will be the first night in the Nature Nest tent. They were so kind to send to me about a month ago. I've been riding around with it on there and it's held up just fine. We just haven't slept in it yet. We have 2 tables because we also have this one that was sent to us by Arcane Warrior, which is pretty cool. So we are set on table space this evening. It's getting close to sunset. So let's put the drone on, take a look around. So there's the campsite, and let's go take a look at where we are compared to the rim rocker. Yeah. Little trail here runs back. It's Not 100% secluded and private, but not bad. And right up there is the trail. Sun's bright. It's getting close to sunset. And here is Rimrocker. As you can see, this part of it is not very technical. It's just a gravel road. We were able to maintain 25, 30 miles an hour most of the way down it. And since we've been here in camp, seeing some of the vehicles going by, we are definitely not the fastest people going down this road. There's people been going up and down the road probably 35, 40, 45 miles an hour. We hear them zooming by and see them every few seconds, but it's pretty cool to be out here. We've been planning the trip for so long, since late last summer, and to finally have it come to fruition, finally be here beyond the Rimrocker is pretty awesome. You know, like Hannibal used to say in the A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together. But I'm gonna head back to the campsite now. We're gonna sit around, relax for a little while, maybe make some dinner. Who knows? Probably get an early night tonight, get started early tomorrow. Well, we just found something here outside the campsite we have to address. So there's the sign going into the campsite. It says motorized travel ends 100 yards ahead. Well, 100 yards ahead is about where we are in the campsite. But what is this? I think it's a Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch here.
Could be a 10-footer.
But like that here, it could be 11-footer.
I think we probably should have the shotgun out tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's the end of day one. It's just after 9 o'clock. There's still a tiny little bit of sun on the horizon, but it's pretty much dark. We are beat. There was no overlanding, cooking of dinner. We didn't even make a campfire. We just snacked a little, had a couple of drinks, and we're going to bed. So we got done in today by lunch in Montrose at a Mexican restaurant. What was it called?
I don't even remember, but the burrito is the size of my forearm.
It was something Guadalajara, wasn't it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the place. It had Guadalajara in the name, but it was freaking amazing, and I had a burrito the size of my leg.
Yep.
And we've been pretty much done in since then.
Yep.
So we're not hungry, we're tired, we're going to bed, so we'll catch back up with you in the morning for day 2 on the Rimrocker. It's day 2 on the Rimrocker. Andy, who is a much earlier rouser than I, is already up and mostly packed away. I'm gonna momentarily break the tent down and awning and all that stuff, and then we're going to get back on the trail and knock out day 2 of the Rimrocker. All right, day 2 is underway. We're back on the Rimrocker and heading towards Utah. Terrain is the same as it was yesterday, the gravel road with washboarding here and there, but as we get closer to Utah, the terrain is definitely going to change. And we should probably be passing through Nucla in about an hour to an hour and a half. We made pretty good time yesterday, despite me filming. The trail was still just a gravel road, and we were taking full advantage of our ability to make good time, as we knew that eventually it would be slow going. We'd find out later just how slow that would be. We're in our second day on the trail. We've spent our first night out there. Everything is going great. We are on top of the world. And then, out of nowhere, a PT cruiser goes by, going the other way. Man, just, you want to talk about instantly taking the wind out of your sails. All of a sudden, it's like, well, you know what? I guess we're really not that far out there. We've hit the paved portion of the rim rocker near Nucla, Colorado. Shouldn't be on it too long, and then we'll be back off-road. In a weird way, it's kind of a little bit of a relief, a little bit of a break from the washboarding. Like I said earlier in the video, we aired down, but some of those sections are still pretty rough as far as washboarding. Not rough as far as technical skill. We've literally passed a PT cruiser going the other way on the trail. The town of Nucla is an oasis on the rim rocker. It's the only town directly on the route, and it's the only place to refuel and to get supplies without leaving the rim rocker. We're past Nucla and back off-road, and the terrain has definitely changed over what it was just an hour ago. It's definitely turning into more desert and starting to look a lot more like Utah. With the vibrant forest of the Uncompahgre now behind us, things begin to change into the more rugged, desert-like terrain that the rim rocker is known for. After we cleared Nucla, we go out into this desert area, and it's very basic, very unassuming, but the landscape to me is just mind-boggling. You can see so much around you because it's just so flat, and the terrain reminded me of actually the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, in the scene where the earthquake strikes and Lois Lane is trying to get gas at a gas station, and then she pulls off and telephone poles are falling and she's going down this dirt road in the desert. The terrain just kept reminding me of that, and so it resonated with me. It was probably one of my favorite parts of the rim rocker. Although I loved the dense forest of the Uncompahgre, the wide open land that we now find ourselves traversing was truly unlike anything that we have back home. Being able to see miles off into the distance while off-road is something that is nearly foreign to us in the East. One thing I must say about being out here, never in my life have I seen so much cow poop. Oh my God. Continuing on, we caught our first glimpses of the canyons that western Colorado is known for. Navigating narrow canyon shelf roads is something that I'll always find amazing and a bit unnerving. The Rimrocker is known for the stark contrast in terrain that you experience on the trail. One thing that you'll never truly appreciate unless you see it in person, though, is just how quickly the terrain changes. Within a matter of minutes, we had gone from narrow shelf roads with unsettling drop-offs to navigating small canyons. We usually see stuff like that in Walmart back east, not out in the wild. That's nuts. Well, probably not if you're from here. We've just finished going down these shelf roads, which honestly scare the hell out of me because I'm terrified of heights. Go through this little gulch, come around a little bend, and then I just stop. I'm on the brakes. Andy pulls up and you see me just stop there. I'm in awe at what I'm seeing. We're in this tight little canyon that's just, to me, so scenic. And I had this epiphany, hey dummy, you need to get out and put your drone up. This canyon was just, it was just so visually appealing to me. It had a little stream next to it that was mostly dried up, but you could just see all of these dead trees. You could tell that when it floods in there, it gets very violent, and they get very fast moving. Flash floods come through the area. And we make our way through this canyon, and it was just, it blew my mind. It was probably my single favorite part of the Rimrocker. I really enjoyed that section. We soon found ourselves back on those narrow shelf roads that, while incredibly scenic, don't help my intense fear of heights. Off in the distance, we begin seeing the uniquely colored rock faces of the Morrison Formation. This greenish-blue coloring is caused by the iron that was deposited here when the area was underwater hundreds of millions of years ago. We've been into the rockier section of the rim rocker for a couple of hours. It's been slow going. We're averaging probably about 3 or 4 miles per hour. Doing about 7 right now. All of this slow going and bumping is wreaking havoc on my back. My back is not happy with me right now. But we're pushing through. We're in extreme western Colorado, so the landscape is starting to look like Utah a whole lot. But we're pushing on. It's about 20 after 5 on day 2, so we're going to start looking for a campsite real soon. This part of the rim rocker brings us by one of the trail's more unique and recognizable features. This formation, known as a biscuit hill or biscuit rock, is the result of millions of years of erosion. Rounding the shelf roads, we enter the high plateau of western Colorado as the wind begins to pick up. As we press on, the trail becomes rockier and bumpier, making already sore backs beg for relief. So our focus shifts to finding a good campsite, and thankfully, this area has no shortage of them. We're at the end of day 2. It was a pretty hard day because the trail was kind of rough, and we're stopping to rest my pissed off back. Found this spot. I think it'll do for the night. Let's take a look. Take a look at this view. I think that'll do. Anyway, it's time to start setting up the campsite. Before it gets too late, and while we have a little bit of a lull in the winds that are going on, let's take a quick walk around the campsite. Take a look at what we're dealing with this evening. I'm sleeping in my Nature Nest Sirius 1 Plus rooftop tent. It's my second night in it. So far, so good. No major complaints. Stay tuned for the upcoming review. Awning. I have my Novsite awning, which has proven itself to be a capable and dependable awning. And speaking of Novsite tables, we're using an offsite table that they sent to us for this trip, and we're also using an Arcane Warrior Landing Series table for the trip as well that they sent us. Stepping over here to Andy's vehicle, we have an Arcane Warrior awning that we don't have enough room in our campsite tonight to open. So last night was a little tight too, so we didn't open it. Hopefully tomorrow night we'll end up in one where we can open it. And of course, Andy has his Max Tracks. No overlanding build is complete without a pair of Max Tracks bolted to the side of your bed rack. Of course, we have Andy's OVS Everest tent. Outstanding tent. Andy likes it a lot. I think it is a great tent. And he also has the OVS, a lot of dust, shower awning, which we are grateful for. Even though we're out in the woods, it's nice to not have to stand out butt naked when you're taking a shower. So rounding it out, Offsite also sent Andy some 4-inch Rock Series pods for his A-pillar. Those are the same ones I'm running on the Defiant up there, and they've proven themselves to be an outstanding off-road light. That is our campsite in a nutshell. You can see we have some decent stuff, but not crazy. We don't have tens of thousands of dollars in gear in here. We make do with what we have, and we have good stuff. So this is where we're going to be tonight. It's a pretty epic sunset going on. The sun dropping behind the mountains over there. I would really love to put the drone up and get a good view of it, but it's getting really, really windy here. And we're on the top of a cliff with like a 1,000-foot drop. I have concerns about the well-being of the drone. So we're just going to have to enjoy it from here. Day 3 of the Rim Rocker. We're just getting ready to depart camp. We're breaking everything down, cleaning everything up. We're gonna get back on the trail. We're gonna make some time today and hopefully be in Moab this evening. We do have a unscheduled visitor in our camp. That little guy right there. We don't see scorpions a whole lot back east unless they're in an aquarium. The terrain in extreme western Colorado is simply stunning to us. The reds and greens on the ground contrasting against the blue sky and snow-capped La Salle Mountains ahead of us kept us visually enthralled by the sights around us. Day 3 of the Rim Rocker is underway. It's slow going to start out. We're managing about 4 miles per hour over this rocky terrain. We are getting a pretty good view of the La Salle Mountains coming up ahead of us, which is a sure sign that we're getting close to Utah. Magnificent view of the mountains. That section of Shelf Road was pretty fun. You've seen it mentioned in other videos and probably earlier in this one. I'm not so good with heights. In fact, I'm outright terrified of them. And that Shelf Road gave me a little pucker. It was fun. Well, we're back on dirt road now, so hopefully we can make up a little time, because I do want to finish this trail this evening and be in Moab. So back at it. Just like that, we're in Utah, making pretty good time. So I'm optimistic that we're going to finish it this evening. Would you look at that? The view of the La Salle Mountains towering ahead of us as we entered Utah was truly breathtaking. Words and video can't do justice to just how incredible that sight is. As we made our way further west, the rocky and rugged trail that had been slowing our progress gave way to the smooth dirt roads of the Manti-La Salle National Forest. However, we'd soon discover that that respite was temporary. The air was cool and crisp, the sights around us were fantastic, and we were making great time. This part of the Rim Rocker was definitely among our favorites. We're getting pretty deep into Utah. We stopped here to have lunch. We're gonna make some sandwiches real quick. A pretty good little open area to eat. But man, check that view out. That will never, ever get old to me. Andy, I know we've been out in the middle of nowhere. We've been on this adventure for several days, but for me, at least, it takes away the sense of adventure when you see a Toyota Camry or Corolla or whatever that is roll by on the rim rocker. Yeah. Would you agree with that sentiment?
I would agree.
Kind of makes you feel like maybe you're not out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you noticed or not, but his front bumper cover was ripped and was hanging off on the passenger side.
I mean, you know, sense of adventure partially restored.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. At least he didn't
something.
At least he didn't get through it undamaged. All right, let's make a push towards Moab.
Yep.
After we had taken a break and had a good lunch, we started the final push towards Moab. I figured that it would take about 3 hours, and I was about to find out how badly I underestimated how slow that we'd have to go. Now we are on the home stretch to Moab, and as you can tell by all the rocking around, it is slow going. At this point in the trail, my back was killing me. I mention back problems sometimes in the videos, but I was a law enforcement officer for 13 years, and I have an injury stemming from that, which cut my career short. And most of the time going off on these overlanding trips, it causes me very minimal discomfort. But this trail was something different. All the slow going and rocking back and forth on the rocks, it was just wreaking havoc on my back. And I was in a terrible mood at this point. And it shows. There's a dramatic drop-off in drone footage and a dramatic drop-off in the amount of times I'm willing to stop and get out and set a camera up. So most of the camera footage at this point is just me shooting from inside the vehicle, and the few times that I go on camera, I'm trying really hard not to show just how miserable I am, because it was hurting me pretty bad. As the route transitioned from Forest Service roads to narrow and rocky ATV and side-by-side trails, our progress got slower and slower. Yep, the home stretch is slow going. Really slow going. Undoubtedly, because it's Friday now and we're getting close to Moab, we're beginning to see a lot more traffic on the trail. We've been passed by several dirt bikes and adventure bikes and a few side-by-sides also. So obviously this is a popular area to go on the weekends, but it shouldn't be too much longer if we can ever get past this unending, slow-going rockiness. I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. It's just the same thing over and over and over. the trail was tossing us around inside our vehicles, making already sore backs even worse. Although progress was slow, the scenery around us was still impressive. Our 4-mile-per-hour adventure continues down this unending rocky trail. I think we are 3 hours into this now, this part of the trail, and it just doesn't stop. The other videos I've watched on the Rim Rocker don't really go into just how rocky the Moab side of the trail is. Kind of gloss over it. It's really rocky. And if you have back problems or you have neck problems, it might prove to be a little unpleasant for you. I don't mind a rocky trail, but I like there to be some kind of payoff. You know, I like it to, going over some kind of obstacle that I didn't think I could make it over, or I'm getting to a good overlook, or I'm getting some great view. You don't really get it on this part of the trail. It is just miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of 3 to 4 miles an hour getting thrown around the interior of the vehicle. Case in point. Whew. But we'll get there eventually. With our elevation dropping, the temperature was rising, a not so subtle reminder that we were in the desert. Would I do the Rim Rocker again? Probably not. It's just not that kind of trail to me. I'm glad that I did it, but I think it would be a waste to drive back out there again from Virginia and do the same thing over when there's so much of Utah and of Colorado that I have yet to see. So, no, I probably wouldn't do it a second time, but I'm definitely glad that I did it. As the terrain leveled out and we approached Moab, it signaled that this journey that we had planned for nearly a year was nearing its end. Although we had other trails to visit before we returned to Virginia, this was the reason for the trip. This was an experience that neither of us will ever forget. This was the Rim Rocker. What do you think about all of this, Victor?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.